Hey guys, it's Pod in the City with Amanda and Joan, and this week we are bringing into our Think Piece deep dive. We're really getting into it about Michael Patrick King and how he completely is to blame. I mean, mostly for the failure of And Just Like That, and really tarnishing the complete legacy of Sex and the City. Damn you, sir. Hi guys.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys. Really quickly here. I did a whole bunch of research this weekend
I thought you were just gonna say like I did a whole bunch of like Molly.
Blow. I did a whole bunch of blow, and I'm ready to talk about MPK. No, I waited for the ADHD to hit me on Saturday, and I really it was so fun. I just let it wash all over me, and I went into a deep dive about Michael Patrick King because our goal here is to figure out what went wrong with And Just Like That, because it will. I think if the world is even around in 100 years still, this will be discussed, I think, in film history or TV history of like, wow, they really biffed it on that there. But before we get into that really quickly, if you're just joining us here, make sure that you join our Patreon. Check it out, you guys. Every week we just finished doing a live pillow talk. And then we also have Vanderpump Rules Smash. We just started a rewatch of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 2, the best season of television, arguably.
I mean, and people over on our Patreon are agreeing. They're like, this is everything I've watched a million times, and I love your recap. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit like, and hit share, baby. Even if you just push share and copy link, it helps a bitch out. Because you're going to want to make sure that you're seeing all of our stuff. Hit the little bell icon, because also, basically the way our week works is Friday, we do a special little live over here, like a morning after, a flushing of the,
postmortem.
So someone left a load and we got to get it out. Anyway, wow, yikes. About the rewatch of season 1 of And Just Like That, because that's what we're doing right now. And then every Saturday, we drop a full deep dive recap about each episode. So make sure that you're here. And I mean, I'm kind of ready. Are you?
Yeah, I'm ready. All right, Joan. I have this all ready here. Look, this made me believe that I still got it.
Oh, okay. I'm excited because Amanda really decided she would take it upon herself to really get into the nitty gritty here, because, a few things had come out after we were doing our lives, etc. And one thing was that, I mean, I did think that Michael Patrick King had a lot more to do, like with Sex and the helming of Sex and the City and the creation, etc. And because I think he wants us to believe that. And once we had the realization, we rubbed our eyes and saw the truth, and we're like, wait, he actually just kind of took the reins over in a way and kind of rode the chariot off a cliff, right? So kind of, where did it start, Amanda? Where did it all start? Is that where you're going to start?
Well, first I'm going to tell you what I did here. I'm going to just state my main sources here are Wikipedia, and then some random, I don't know if this is like a school project, but I will have a link if anyone wants to fucking read this article. But I guess this is what you're supposed to do, right? Is cite our articles.
Okay, but Wikipedia technically would not be considered a fully valid source if you're citing things.
But I'm gonna read things verbatim from it. So I'm just gonna list right at the top here. I went to Wikipedia for a lot of this, but then I would go to Wikipedia and then I'd find a piece of information and then I would go and research that. And as we found out, what I've learned at the end is that I know less than I did before. I don't know what went wrong here. So let me just get started here.
That's the hypothesis. I know I'm even more confused than I was at the beginning.
Where did it go wrong, Joan? So we're going to go through all of this together again.
I think the ego, the ego. And where did he get the ego? What's going on? I don't understand. Okay, what was he successful for? Where are we going?
This is a perfect way to start. One of my sources here is the Vanity Fair Still Watching podcast. You ever seen this before?
No.
Okay, so Michael Patrick King did an interview with them, I think between season 2 and 3 of And Just Like That. And I'm going to just say a couple notes that I took from that, but then I'm also going to intertwine some stuff he says in here. But the main things I got from this is that he came in bitchy and combative. Like he was ready to fight. This is between season 2. So he had been listening to this podcast the entire time. And so he came in like, and this is Vanity. He's like, yeah, I listened to a couple of the podcasts, which I don't know if you should be doing that. I don't know if you're or if you're going to do that, maybe actually take the criticism, but he's clearly listening for his own ego, like you said, and getting upset. And instead of fixing things, he came and was like pointing. He's like, you guys thought that this was going to happen, but it didn't.
Double downing on all of his stuff as opposed to being like, you know what, you guys are kind of right.
Making fun of their predictions. He's like, every week,
humility.
None at all. He's like, every week I would listen to you guys and you guys would wonder about something. And I would think to myself, well, just get ready, fellas, because next week we're going to cover that. And these guys, this is why I would never want to interview somebody for for this podcast or like my podcast with Jody, because like, I could not sit there and be like, tell me more. Like I couldn't do what they do in the writer's room. And that's what these poor guys had to do with him, is be like, you're right. We're idiots. We don't know what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, the clip that really sent me over the edge, we're playing that later? Or that was from that, wasn't it?
That was just kind of for you, but yeah, let me see if it actually
plays. That's from that podcast. Still
it is. Okay, so can you
and
hear
the
this?
reaction of the people on it.
Who was by design
Can you hear this?
supposed to be cocky. And I keep saying, people are like, I don't like Che. I go, you don't like stand-ups. That's it. That is the thing, that they are really a stand-up. They draw from their own life. Any person who
So again, the guys have to be like, yeah, you're right. But his point there was, if you don't like Che, it's because and the way he says it is so bitchy.
It's the saying, that's it.
That's it.
That is your issue, sir. Because if you could just say, some people don't like, there's probably a bunch of, why don't you just say, there's probably a lot of people who don't like Che because they don't like stand-up comedians. I mean, I don't believe that and I don't agree with it, but you can't say, that's it. That's it. That's it.
It's that. And then he goes on to say that Che is every stand-up he's ever met. And that's exactly because he used to do stand-up, which I'll get into here, which is fascinating to me. But anyway, he says he leans on how single people, he keeps saying in this podcast that Seema's there to be powerful and she's supposed to be a representation of, it could happen, guys. It could happen. Anyone who's single out there just haven't found their one true love yet. And I think that's another major issue here, is that the way they ended the series.
How is that powerful?
It's not, but he thinks it is. But I'm like, but he does believe that. I think Michael Patrick King doesn't believe that a woman could be happy single, which is why, and just like that didn't land in the way they made it the finale.
Yeah.
So that's a major. And then addressing the phone call with Samantha.
Oh, okay.
Goes, because and season 2 had just ended, so the phone call had just happened. So he goes, so here's what it is with Samantha. They're like, oh, she was only in a couple minutes. He's like, here's the thing with Samantha. Samantha is a potent perfume. You only need a little bit. So we didn't want to put too much of Samantha in there. And I'm like, are you trying to convince all of us that Kim Cattrall would have done more than what she made you pay her $1 million?
That's why I actually think that he's maybe like losing his brain somehow. Because why make up these fallacies? Why not be like, people would respect you if you went in there and were like, you know what? We knew that we had Kim for like 2 minutes.
Yes, because we all knew that too. We knew all of that.
Do not tell me that was a conscious choice. Just like if you said, hey, we didn't know we were getting canceled, so sorry, this is how we ended it.
Yes.
That would make us be like, I mean, I still would be like, you suck. But I would be like, okay, kind of.
And then the last thing I got from this podcast is he says at one point, now they're talking about the phone call and they're like, Annabelle Bronstein, how funny. He's like, no, Annabelle Bronstein, that is a deep cut, the deepest. And the guys are like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And he goes, only true and real fans would know that reference. Annabelle Bronstein. You're like, that's just so irritating to me.
He's stupid.
That's like being like,
But-
oh, I take the Rachel as a deep
You
friend.
might be watching this video, Amanda.
Maybe. Well, I'm about to tell you
Michael
about
Patrick King, if you're watching, DM me, baby, please.
Michael Patrick
Send
King,
us a
this
message.
is your life. Anyway, I listened to this podcast and then I listened to him on Are You a Charlotte?
This fucking headshot situation is
Bad.
absurd. What?
Bad.
This is like
a
the
floating
layering happening. What is going? This is her face superimposed onto someone else's body. What is going on?
Well, he was on episode 3 of Are You a Charlotte because she did like episode by episode, and as we'll find out, what's it called? Single. Oh God, I'll get into it. Whatever the 3rd episode is the first episode that he is credited as writing. Okay, so let's get into this biography here really quickly.
Great.
Born 1954, Irish Catholic, Scranton, Pennsylvania. No, but the Irish thing he mentions in every interview that he's Irish. Like the Irish thing is very important to him, which I almost wonder if that's why Che is half Irish. Because is Sarah Ramirez half Irish?
Oh. Well, what I'll say is that MPK, we can tell you're Irish, sweetie.
We've seen you.
Nothing about this man doesn't tell me that you're Irish. Like, what the fuck? You look like I mean, not to be mean, but like, you
no, for sure.
look like a leprechaun. Like, you are giving like who I would cast as an Irish person in a movie.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so he applied to Juilliard. He knew he wanted to be a performer, darling. But so he applied to Juilliard, but his parents couldn't afford it. Never actually says in any interview if he.
So is this this is the start of the lying? Is that the reason he didn't go to Juilliard is because his parents couldn't afford it? Not because he didn't.
I'm so glad that you're engaging like this. This makes me so happy. Okay, great. Doesn't say so. He attended Mercyhurst College, which is in Pennsylvania. It's a little cheaper and unknown.
Looks gorgeous.
Now I looked this up on Wikipedia. They have a whole list of alumni on there, not mentioned. The alumni are people I have never heard of.
But you know what? Michael Patrick King, if you guys didn't know this, please go watch some of our other shit because he came out and said, I don't care. He does not care about fans of the show. So like, I'm gonna just, I guess, be mean to him. Because I don't care then.
No, I don't. I don't think he's gonna see this. And this is all facts. Okay, so he moved in 1970. He went there for 3 years, but then it got to be too much to him. So he couldn't get rid of this performing bug. So he moved straight to New York when he was 21. Here's a picture of Times Square in 1975. So
this I think is AI.
This is a picture. No, this is like a picture from like a thing. I don't know. Whatever. It's a good picture. It's not grainy.
I want to go back in that time. Okay, yes, continue. He moved to New York City after going to college for 3 years because he just had that acting bug.
21. My life is half over. Gotta get
now
over
explain to me why you wouldn't. Are we again believing now? See, I'm gonna have to put everything into question, MPK, because I now have to know. Like, was it really like who goes to 3 years of college and then just decides to leave the last year? You know. Because of the acting bug, not because of like you knew you weren't going to graduate or whatever. I mean,
I feel like he probably didn't get along with a lot of people in the program, and they were like, he was like, I don't fit in here. Everyone's.
I think that his version of the truth is definitely his version.
So he worked as a server, also unloading boxes, and he trained at the Lee Strasberg School. So that's something. I was like, whoa, okay. So
I think times were different, though. I mean, I'm not going to be mean.
Of course. He worked as a stand-up. He wanted to be a stand-up. But the main problem, you're going to love this. The main problem was that he was in the closet, so he couldn't really be his true stand-up self because he was always worried people would find out that he was gay. I think they could figure it out. But
so he's saying that's why he wasn't successful?
That's why he wasn't a good stand-up, because he couldn't really be himself, and he was so scared that people would think he was gay.
Okay.
But he did stand up alongside Jon Stewart and Ray Romano. So they were like friends.
What?
Which brings us to his first job. Again, I think if I lived in New York in the 70s, I would be Patti LuPone.
Coked up.
It's like the way you can just like be friends with someone. And now I have a job writing. 1989. So 14 years later, he got a job with Jon Stewart. Like Jon Stewart recommended him for Caroline's Comedy Hour, which was on TV. He was hired as a writer. This was hosted by Carol Leifer, who is the person that Elaine Bennis is based on in Seinfeld.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
He got a job as a writer for that, but I looked up this show and it's just like just for laughs on TV. It's just like,
stand-ups?
Yes.
So he was probably like writing jokes for this woman to
probably just to do intros and stuff.
Like fill in stuff like they kind of did with like, I don't know, shows like Fashion Police and stuff like that.
Exactly. And he talks about that in all these interviews, all these articles. He very much pounds home the point that he was brought in to fix this show. He was a punch-up writer, but he won't say those words because it sounds like not as impressive as I was hired to fix this show. So he was hired to fix the show called The Sweet Life. He was hired to fix it. It got canceled 3 shows later. Then he did a show called
The Sweet Life.
The Sweet, like sweet. It's the sweet. It was like it starred some woman named Sarah Sweet. Not Sarah Sweet, but like something sweet.
Sarah!
It was Sarah Sweet show. Hired to fix, but did not fix. But that wasn't his fault, of course. Then he did a show called My Talk Show.
He can't fix everything.
No, I mean, some shows are just too far gone. The Sweet Life, absolutely. My Talk Show, Hi, Honey, I'm Home. Then he does get hired on Murphy Brown, okay? Which I'm impressed with that.
My mom was like a huge Murphy Brown fan.
This guy, Charles Kimbrough, is the original, other lead in Sunday in the Park with George, starring Mandy Patinkin on Broadway. He's also one of the voices of the gargoyles in the Hunchback of Notre Dame Disney movie.
That's this guy to the right of her?
Yes, like on her level, but with the top. Okay. He kind of looks weird there. But anyway, he was hired for Murphy Brown. So listen to this. He enjoyed his time on Murphy Brown. Like all these other experiences, he didn't really get along or he didn't feel appreciated. But Murphy Brown, the showrunner, made everyone feel very included and very, all your ideas are being heard, and for creating an empowered environment. But then after 2 years, he left for a better opportunity, which is irritating to me. And he said his quote was, "I didn't want to do what everyone else was doing and stay on a show for 10 years and then have to work my way up through the business," which is so irritating to me because like you worked 2 years on one of the biggest shows on TV and now you're like, I don't want to be one of those people. A loyal person, I guess.
I think that as many people do when you tell your life story, you make it sound like
you had more choice in the matter.
You like were those 2 years? It was like, because by my perception, I would look at MPK as like then you're like a climber in a way of like you're trying to just get to a higher and higher and higher and higher place, and you're never like because many people would be over the moon to be a writer on the most popular show on television, and you're saying, I don't want to be one of those people who's too stagnant.
And 2 years is not anything. It's like he doesn't want to pay his dues, it sounds like he's saying. So he gets hired. He
wants to put in as limited time as possible and then
step on all those people after he had just said that was the most empowering environment he'd worked in thus far. Bye.
Again, I don't feel like we get he gives a full story, so it's hard to truly.
He leaves to do a show called Good Advice, where he was hired to save, got immediately canceled. Then he went on in 1996. He
was hired to save it?
Yes.
He said that.
He says that having to do with multiple things in his career. I was hired to say, including Sex and the City. We'll get to that in a second. Next, he's hired in 1996. He's hired as writer and executive producer of Sybil. He wrote 7 episodes, and then he said it wasn't a pleasant work environment. Also, he was fired.
Well, they say Sybil Shepherd I believe, is kind of semi-diva but like,
oh really?
I believe, but I loved that show. He
I
was
loved
fired though. Fired.
He was fired, but he also wants everyone to know that it was a pretty toxic work environment.
Okay, sweetie.
But he was fired because nobody could get along with him. Like everyone,
he was in there trying to be like, "Hey, I'm leaving here in a year and a half to go on to something bigger and better." Oh, you've been doing this for 5 years. You're never gonna be able to recover your career.
And then about Sybil, he's quoted, "Don't take anything just for the money." What a fucking bitch. And that was a successful show too, starring a female comic, which was very rare in those days. Don't take anything just for the money.
I just think that, I don't know.
After that happened and he was fired, he fucked off to Europe for a couple of years, or like a certain amount of time, I think, to pout and walk around Europe. And then his friend Carolyn Strauss sent him the script for a little show called Sex and the City. And she's like, she goes, "What do you think?" And he goes, "Oh, well, there's no jokes." And he really did love the last line where Big says, "Abso-fucking-lutely," because that is a joke, which it's literally not a joke, but
I don't think that's a joke.
No, he told this story on Are You a Charlotte? Like I also read all this stuff too, but he did, like, these are stories that I think he has told multiple times over the years, so they are true to him now. So he loved that. So they hire him to write jokes, to say, honestly, to be the funny quote. Darren Star, he makes it sound like Darren Star was like, "Oh no, how am I going to do this? I need someone funny." So they pair him with Pear. What I think happened is that Darren Star needed a punch up writer, and Michael Patrick King went in thinking, we're partners here. So Darren and him start as partners, and they would go back and forth. On every script, he would give it to Darren, and Darren would write back. It would just be all red pen, things circled out. And he'd be like, "I don't like this part. I don't like this part." And Michael Patrick King would go, "Well, those are all the jokes." So Darren, they collab on the second episode, but Darren got credit for it. But Bay of Married Pigs is the first episode Michael Patrick King writes all by himself, and you will never fucking guess what storyline that features. Is the storyline where Miranda thinks she's a lesbian and decides that she is absolutely not a lesbian. The first script that he wrote already closes the situation with Miranda possibly being gay.
And like, okay, from my maybe I have to go back right now and watch, but like,
it's also where Carrie sees that guy's dick in the Hamptons, and then his wife gets upset, and then she dates that marrying guy, and then he ends up dating Charlotte, and then she dumps him because of the china. They don't like the same china at the end.
But was that episode like markedly? Is that like more funny than the first two?
I don't know. I was
more comedy focused, or
no, but this one, Darren really, like, there was a lot of edits in this, but it was all the jokes. Now they filmed the whole first season of Sex and the City, but then while they're waiting to see if it's getting picked up or not, he joins the first season of Will and Grace, and then Sex and the City gets picked up. Guess what he does?
Quits
Will and Grace, comes back over to Sex and the City. I get trying to set up your next gig, but like, this man has like no loyalty. So
that's where I'm confused about where people are clamoring to have him come in and save shows when he doesn't seem like he has built that much of a resume of doing anything.
Exactly. But this is why these people can be successful in this entertainment business. Unfortunately, they force their way in.
Yes. They you have no choice Like, and honestly, I wish I had a bit more of that in me.
I absolutely do.
I'm not like that. I am the exact opposite. I will not force myself on in any way into anything I do not want to.
Because I can always tell when people don't like me, so then I don't force myself on them. But you have to be able to push past that, I guess.
That's how he's become a billionaire or whatever, half a billionaire.
Yeah.
That's what helped him get so out of touch with, the common folk.
Michael Patrick King goes on to write all of the series season premieres and finales except the pilot, and the 5th season finale, which King co-wrote with Cindy Chupak. But he did write all the premieres and finales, which I gotta say, those are good. All of the premieres and finales are very good. So Darren Star leaves after season 3, Cock-a-doodle-doo, right here. And
a lot of people thought this was going to possibly be just like the end of the series, right?
Yes, the end of the series, but then it gets shopped around, and I guess, was it not on? No, it was on HBO, but something happened where Darren left, probably because he couldn't handle working with Michael Patrick. I really do think that there looks to be a split where it's like Darren, Pat Fields, and Kim Cattrall, and then like Michael Pat. It seems to be these two, because they don't ever reference each other or address each other.
Michael Patrick King, again, seems like the type that would go in and weasel you out. It would be it's like those birds that lay their eggs in nests, right? And then when the baby's born, the first thing it does is it pushes the other eggs, the other bird's eggs out of the nest and like kills them. That is the vibe I get. But this one photo, I'm like dying to get it on screen.
Oh my God, right. So this is a picture.
I like this look, actually. I don't
on him. This is from 1998 or something, 1997, and like that was not the style. So bold. He's got like not a handlebar, like a what is that?
It's like 70s porn stashy.
It's a porn stash, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But after anyway, I also want to point out that during the first couple seasons of Sex and the City in 1999, he does an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay.
Season 1. And I took screenshots from this. You can find it on like Reddit, just the scene. And it's Larry at a hotel, and he watched porn, and it gets charged to the room, and Michael Patrick King is like the HBO exec, and he's just like and he's like very funny in the scene. Like really? I clicked play being like, oh, he's gonna be like such a bad actor, and he was so good. He didn't overplay it. Like he was believable. Like I was really impressed. So he knows comic timing.
He did want to be a stand-up.
He did. Like, I mean, fascinating.
But then why did he do so badly at writing Che's set?
That's a great point, Joan. Thank you. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, true. There's got to be something subliminally where Che is him. Maybe if he was a straight stand-up, he would. But Che's not straight. It baffles me. So after Sex and the City's over, he does the comeback with Lisa Kudrow.
Which is great.
This character is something that she did in The Groundling. So as you kind of said before, she probably was running the show there, and which seems very clear. If you note in this picture here of like, she is clearly like giving him notes kind of here. And he's just like, yeah, you're right. And it's a lot of improv, so he doesn't really have to do much. It's kind of Lisa's character, and she's doing everything. So I guess that kind of explains why that show is so good. So let's get to the very first Sex and the City movie, okay?
Okay.
First Sex and the City movie happens 2008. For anyone who doesn't remember, Joan went to it at the midnight showing with her friend Stephanie dressed in drag. And the movie did amazingly. And so great. He's on a high. He's never felt better. This, I think, might be a turning point right here. He ends up doing the show Two Broke Girls with Whitney Cummings. Oh, yeah. I did not know that was the duo that did this, but I wonder if Whitney Cummings is a little aspect of making him a little bit more
bad,
funny. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know what? Maybe it was Two Broke Girls that was the setup for
CBS
like that being bad.
It's just because in CBS comedy, you're writing that kind of comedy, which is very schmacky and set up joke.
Yeah.
So I think that might, because right after that, guess what happens? It's the Sex and the City 2 movie comes out.
And did he write that?
He did. Look at Miranda in this. This is
Look at honestly all of them.
All of them.
Harry looks okay. The rest look stupid.
I mean, even Samantha looks so stupid.
Samantha looks the dumbest, honestly, with that thing on
Miranda
her
looks
head.
really dumb. Charlotte, I guess, looks the best. I guess hat wise.
Charlotte, this outfit is not a Charlotte outfit. I'm sorry.
No, it's weird, and also it's so hot. I would never wear any of these outfits. I would definitely not wear pants. John, this is where things start to like really pick up here. I was like salivating during because I didn't know a lot of the stuff I'm about to tell you here. Backlash from the second movie stunned Michael Patrick King. Okay, like
really?
he was stunned, obviously very butthurt. But anyway,
Clearly.
several years go by, and I did not know that the third movie was announced. This is from like, I shouldn't have cut off the top there, but this is from an actual like reputable news source.
Okay.
They're back. Sex and the City cast officially signed on to film third movie. So they were announced, a script was written. This is from
that is where they said that Big was like the third movie was Big was gonna die, right?
Yeah. And yes, okay. So here, this is from Wikipedia. In 2016, Radar Online reported that a script for a third Sex and the City film had been approved. However, on September 28th, 2017, so like 7 months later-ish, Sarah Jessica Parker confirmed that the third film was not going to happen. She said, "We had this beautiful, funny, heartbreaking, joyful, very relatable script and story. It's not just disappointing that we don't get to tell the story and have that experience, but more so for that audience that has been so vocal in wanting another movie." It was reported in 2018 that Kim Cattrall did not want to return as Samantha Jones in the film due to disagreeing with its planned storylines involving killing off Mr. Big and Samantha receiving sexting and nude pics from Miranda's 14-year-old son, Brady. Cattrall later clarified in 2000.
I'm glad she didn't.
I'm glad she didn't too. But that also, Michael Patrick King loves those young boy sex storylines. He loves them. Clarified in 2019 that she opted not to appear in a third film, explaining that she went past the finish line already, portraying the character of Samantha because of her love for the franchise. So basically saying, well, the second movie was embarrassing, so I'm not.
She doesn't need your money and your assholes to her. I'm sure they don't treat. I'm gonna take a wild guess and think that she probably feels like the outsider when SJP is there or whatever. Or were they even together in the second movie?
The Insider
they were, because they go to Abu Dhabi.
An Insider said Sarah Jessica Parker was not originally on board for the third movie because she didn't like the idea of the characters being portrayed in a more mature light. Fortunately for Parker, tweaks were made in the script to make this more of a reality, and then a green light happened. So Sarah Jessica Parker didn't like the script. She didn't like it being that they're older. She didn't like that either, but something happened there that nobody's really addressing. But anyway, because of that, everyone's upset, and Michael Patrick King can't get over it, so he decides to turn the script for Sex and the City 3 into, and we arrive at, and just like that, all right? And just like that was HBO Max's most watched series debut, including both HBO and HBO Max originals premiered on the service. It was surpassed by House of the Dragon, but it was the most watched debut of all time.
Which shows you that people wanted it.
Yes. Yes. Viewership for the second season significantly declined by 59%. The premiere of the second season averaged 463,000 households. So not even 1 million people watched the second season premiere. Over a live plus 3-day viewing period, down from the first season's 1.1 million. Viewerships for the following episodes kept dropping by an additional 13%, suggesting most viewers had lost interest and abandoned the series. Then the third, okay, I lost the thing here. Overall viewership for And Just Like That paled in comparison to Sex and the City, with the original series debuting to 2.8 million viewers and eventually reaching over 10.6 million viewers for the series finale.
Now, things were slightly different back in the day because we didn't
For
have
sure.
streaming when that was out, but it was also a cable, like a specialty cable channel. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
The
wild.
season 3 premiere averaged 429,000 households over a 3-day period, representing a 7% drop in viewership and more than a 60% drop from the season 1 premiere. And the performance was below average for everything. And that's why it got canceled. This isn't like right here. It was below average. It wasn't doing that. It was dropping significantly by several percent every week. It was canceled. So, and that's kind of where we land here. I mean, and then here's some pictures of him directing the gals. And that's where we've landed, and everything else we've discussed on all of our lives, like the Writers' Room podcast. But there is a
keep, though, getting those bits for the Writers' Room podcast, because Amanda keeps listening to them every week. I can't, because I have to protect my peace somewhat.
Right.
I know that I will genuinely crash my car into a wall while I'm listening to that. Honestly, I think that what I learned there is that something that I can look at Michael Patrick King and I can respect him for is his I don't know about respect, but I can commend him for is his chasing success and chasing something always better and higher and more money and better and bigger and this, that, and the other. Good for you, sweetie. I think that at this point, I mean, you can really just see through that. I mean, like it seemed, and this is maybe my just perception. It's like climbing the ladder, you know, to get what you're looking for. And I think that, you know, yeah, like you said that you're more confused at the end. I don't know how I feel.
A lot of that part of his career was very respectable. Even watching him in that Curb Your Enthusiasm, I was like, this guy can do comedy. And he wasn't. I was expecting him to really overact, and he didn't. The way I would have if I had been that part. He was great.
So I'm going to say part of it is his ego, but also I think the Two Broke Girls is an interesting piece of the puzzle. Because you get into, I mean, and that went on for.
God, it's still going on, isn't it?
Is it? I mean,
no, but it seems like
that show was on forever, and so I could see, but then I still am going to put some blame on Sarah Jessica Parker.
I also wish I knew more tea about what happened with those movies, because obviously, oh man. Just the whole, how nobody's ever on the same page with what story they're going to tell.
Is it the first movie where Samantha spends most of the time not with the other women at all? Which is
no, it's the second movie because she's out with that guy. She meets that like financer.
No, but there's also the thing where she watches that guy.
Oh, she's in LA. She lives in LA. Yeah.
Yeah, so she spends a bunch of time on her own away from them. Well, like it was already pretty clear that she was sick of their shit, and honestly, I would get it if I think SJP, and I'm gonna just make some allegeds. I'm gonna make some assumptions here. Kim Cattrall was the one who like many looked at as a breakout star of the series, and I believe that she probably would have preferred if she was the breakout star.
Sure.
To say.
Well, she ended up winning in the end. But anyway, that was my walk through the life. That was my walk through the life of MPK. What did you think of my work?
I thought it was pretty amazing.
Thanks.
I really appreciate it because, I mean, I wasn't going to do it. And, you know, I think it's interesting to see kind of like where he came from because and this perception of his that he is always brought in to fix things.
Yeah.
And just like, so when that's your perception of yourself, maybe you're unable to see that, oh, someone needs to come in and fix my show. You know, if you're always the fixer, I don't know. Who knows? who knows? I'm excited that we're still doing the episodes of And Just Like That. And I
Me
hope that
too.
you guys are like in it and that you're subscribed and that you're hitting like and shit. Because every Friday we do a live rewatch, like live stream, chit chat, hangout. Hey guys, Sitch. Fridays at 2 p.m. EST. And then Saturday, we drop our full recap of that week's episode. And we're already on episode, what? Four of the first season. Ooh, baby. Also, if you're interested, we have covered seasons 1 through 3 of Sex and the City. We also did a watch of Sex 1 through 3 of And Just Like That. We did live streams. We have a bunch of content, so check it out. If you also really like our content, check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/podinthecity. Over there, it's $6 a month, and you get extra episodes every week, and you get ad-free early access to our other episodes. And you can join us on lives and all kinds of crap. Anyway, we love you guys so much, and I am so tired.
Me too.
It's like dark out.
Oh, you are.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys. We love you. See you later.
Bye.